my name is Johnny Maroon, and you're listening to Leadership Unlocked. With over 20 years of leadership and management experience, I began my journey with traditional leadership, but quickly realized the importance of learning and flexibility. This led me to Hyper Island Digital Management Masters, where I was introduced to innovative methodologies that transformed my views of leadership. Today's podcast will critically examine traditional and cutting-edge thinking about planning, management, and effective team evaluation. Traditional leadership is rooted in the early 20th century military and industrial models. It was all about command and control back then, with leaders expected to dictate orders and team members simply following. But as we all know, the world has changed a lot since then. Organizations have grown in complexity and diversity, as have the challenges that leaders face. Traditional leadership frequently emphasizes stability and efficiency with a hierarchy structure in which information flows from the top down. I embraced the structure in my early years as a manager. It established clear roles and responsibilities and aided in efficient decision-making. However, it soon became apparent that this model had its challenges. The most severe criticism leveled at this model is its lack of flexibility and creativity. The top-down approach limits team members' ability to contribute ideas or innovations. Furthermore, this model needs to be better suited to dealing with today's rapid pace of change. I've witnessed this firsthand in projects derailed by unexpected challenges that the traditional leadership model couldn't adapt to in time. My experience and academic research have taught me the value of adaptability when leading teams. Understanding and embracing more cutting-edge thinking and techniques, particularly those emphasizing collaboration, was a significant part of this. Agile project management is one such method. Initially developed for software development, Agile has since been adopted across various industries due to its flexibility. It emphasizes iterative progress, continuous feedback, and most importantly, a team-oriented approach in which all members can contribute and lead. Agile has transformed project management, in my experience, making it more responsive and efficient. However, it has drawbacks, as do all methodologies. Agile requires high participation and communication from all team members, which can be difficult for some. It also needs straightforward structure and predictability of more traditional methods, making it appear chaotic to those used to a more hierarchy approach. Other contemporary leadership models, in addition to the Agile, include Transformational Leadership, which emphasizes the role of leaders as visionaries and motivators, inspiring their teams to exceed their own individual performance goals. Or the Servant Leadership model, which turns the traditional hierarchy on its head by having leaders serve their teams by prioritizing their needs and development. These models, while promising, have their challenges. Transformational leadership necessitates leaders with exceptional charisma and motivational skills, which only some possess. On the other hand, servant leadership may need help with decision-making, speed and efficiency because it values consensus and the need of team members. Now let us hear some insightful feedback from our guest speaker, Elkarouni, a leader, user experience designer, and a fellow Hyper Island alumni.
Thank you for having me. I believe there is no such thing as a perfect leadership style or project management method. The key is to understand each approach's advantages and disadvantages and tailor them to the specific requirements of your team and project. We must be willing to embrace a more nuanced and adaptable leadership style that incorporates traditional and cutting-edge thinking as leaders. We must value both the stability and clarity that conventional structures can provide and the innovation and adaptability that contemporary models emphasize. For example, in one of my recent projects, we encountered unexpected changes halfway through. This was when I realized the value of combining the two approaches. We used the traditional model structure to make quick decisions. Still, we used agile methods to adapt to the new changes, ensuring continuous communication and feedback loops to stay on track. Evaluating team effectiveness is a critical component of this adaptive leadership style. Traditional methods may heavily rely on quantitative metrics such as productivity or output, but this may only capture part of the picture, especially in today's knowledge-driven industries. In contrast, modern evaluation techniques emphasize qualitative measures such as team cohesion, creativity, and job satisfaction. They understand that a truly effective team is defined by what is produced and how the team functions and grows together. A balanced approach has proven to be the most effective in my recent projects. Yes, we must track qualitative measures to ensure we meet our objectives, but we must also recognize the importance of qualitative criteria. I will leave you with some questions. How happy is the team? How well do they collaborate? Are they advancing in their positions? These questions are equally important when assessing team effectiveness.
Thank you, Dan, for your thoughts and input. It is becoming clear that the leadership landscape is changing. Our role as leaders is to inspire, facilitate, and empower. We must be adaptable, flexible, and eager to learn and grow. So far in this podcast, we have discussed how traditional and cutting-edge leadership styles interact with planning, management, and project evaluation. Let's go deeper and look at how we can put these ideas into practice in our daily leadership practices. As previously stated, I began my leadership journey traditionally, with the clear hierarchies and emphasis on stability. This model was instrumental in my early understanding of leadership. It emphasizes the decision-making role of a leader with a focus on efficiency and order. One practical example was managing a large project with a tight deadline. In this situation, the traditional leadership model worked well. I made quick decisions, efficiently delegated tasks, and kept the team focused on the end goal. But while it worked well in this particular situation, I quickly realized that the traditional model was only sometimes applicable. As projects became more complex and the pace of change quickened, I became aware of the limitations of the traditional leadership style. The top-down approach did not encourage much creativity or innovation, and needed to be more flexible to deal with unexpected changes or challenges. The world was changing quickly, and it was apparent that my leadership style also needed to change. This realization prompted me to pursue my master's, as you know. During my studies, I was exposed to a whole new world of leadership methodologies that were dramatically opposed to the traditional models I was used to. The Agile approach, for example, was one of the cutting-edge techniques that profoundly impacted me. Agile is dynamic and adaptable methodology that emphasizes collaboration and continuous improvement. It is a method in which projects are divided into manageable chunks, or sprints, with regular feedback loops to ensure that the team is constantly improving and adapting. However, Agile is more than just a project management technique. It's also a mindset. It necessitates a team-wide culture shift that promotes values such as transparency, adaptability, and shared responsibility. The Agile methodology eliminates hierarchy barriers and encourages every team member to assume leadership. I recall in one of my projects I worked on last year that was complicated and uncertain. Agile enabled us as a team to be adaptable and responsive. We could quickly adapt to changes, learn from our mistakes, and continuously improve. It was a welcome change from the rigid top-down approach I had been accustomed to. However, Agile has its challenges. It requires a high level of communication and collaboration, which can be challenging in specific team dynamics. It also needs the precise structure of traditional methods, which, if appropriately managed, can lead to clarity and inefficiencies. Leaders are responsible for understanding these nuances and adapt their leadership style accordingly. We must recognize that each team, each project, and each situation requires a unique leadership approach. Final point I want to talk about is the concept of emotional intelligence. This is another crucial aspect of modern leadership. Unlike the traditional model, which often prioritizes task completion over personal relationships, emotional intelligence strongly emphasizes understanding and managing team members' emotions. Developing emotional intelligence has been critical for effective team management. It has helped me better understand my team members, communicate more effectively, and form stronger relationships. It is an essential component of transformational and servant leadership models, emphasizing empathy and personal growth. Emotional intelligence, on the other hand, is not one-size-fits-all solution. It's a tool like all tools and must be used correctly. It requires a dedicated balance, as leaders must make difficult decisions while maintaining professional boundaries. It is about compassion and understanding without letting emotions cloud your judgment or decision making. Another recent concept that has gained traction is leading from the middle. The strategy emphasizes the role of middle managers and team members in influencing and leading, even if they do not hold a formal leadership position. It acknowledges that leadership is about more than just hierarchy, influence, and collaboration. In my own experience, encouraging leadership from the middle can significantly improve team dynamics and effectiveness. It allows team members to take ownership of their own roles and contribute more meaningfully. It also fosters a more inclusive and diverse leadership culture by valuing and encouraging different perspectives and ideas. However, leading from the middle, like other methods, has challenges. It can cause confusion about roles and responsibilities, and if not appropriately managed, can lead to conflict. Such a model requires a high level of trust and communication within the team and formal leader willingness to share power and control. My experiences and studies have taught me that leadership is a process, not a destination. It's a continuous learning and adaptation process. As leaders, we must be open to new ideas and willing to question our own assumptions. We must recognize that different situations necessitate different leadership styles and find the best fit for each case. This brings us back to the earlier mentioned concept of adaptive leadership. The key to adaptive leadership is flexibility and resilience. It is about understanding that there's no one-size-fits-all leadership style, and that effective leadership is about selecting the right approach for the right situation. Each approach has advantages and disadvantages. Whether the traditional model, agile, transformational leadership, servant leadership, or leading from the middle. Our job as leaders is to understand these nuances and adapt our style accordingly. It is about more than just the big picture too. Adaptive leadership also applies to the management of our teams daily. Every aspect of our leadership practice can benefit from a more adaptive and flexible approach, from how we communicate, delegate tasks, and handle conflicts. As we near the end of this episode, I would like to issue you with a challenge. Consider your own leadership style. Are you stuck in your ways because they are comfortable? Or are you willing to adapt and try new approaches? Are you ready to learn from your teammates and the successes and failures of your projects? Remember that leadership is more than just being in a position of authority. It is about persuading others, making difficult decisions, and leading your teams towards a common goal. Most importantly, it's about being adaptable and constantly striving to improve. Thank you for joining me today on Leadership Unlocked. I'm Johnny Maroon, and I look forward to continuing this exploration of leadership with you on our next episode. Until then, keep leading and keep learning.